Hey everyone, welcome back to another market open. We've got 2 minutes to the opening bell today. A little bit behind there on a small little technical difficulty, but we're good. Here we go. At least I think we're good. Anyway, I want to quickly start before we hit the chart here. I want to start with this. I'm seeing a lot of this right now, and it's almost kind of like maybe it was a little early talking about this, but I'm seeing a lot of this because all of you know I'm a big fan of saying, look, by the end of the year, September, October, mostly September, October, we're going to start seeing those inflationary pressures go away. Now we're starting to see this talk about inflation cooling in the second half. We're starting to get more and more of these types of articles. That's good. And sooner or later, the market begins to price that in. So let's see what we've actually got today. So today we have Virgin Galactic in the pre-market up 20%. We got some of the SPACs really starting to run here. We know they've been back from the grave. My goodness, Beyond Meat fell under 100 for a moment there. We got Upwork, still not at its highs after its earnings. It's still sitting around 41. Did run up to about 64 there for a moment. We're getting a little bit of green here. Etsy, EXPI, these guys 1%, Coinbase, and that. Towards the downside, we've actually got Shift getting smoked today on a massive bond offering, debt raise, trying to get some more money to advertise more to compete, which is the purpose of the open market, but definitely sucks as an investor looking at Shift as a wonderfully valued company. But yeah, debt is not what people want more of right now. We've got Honest Company down 1.2, Upstart down 1.46, OGI is down a little bit as well, QuantumScape 2, Cannabis ETFs down a little bit. Let's get the bell, and we'll come back and see what's going on with crypto as well.
The Secretary of Commerce, I do know Plot Materials is saying to me that business is going to grow for them very much. I want to make that clear. I had felt that it wasn't clear from the conference call. Obviously, the semiconductor capital equipment stocks, David, that they can ignite again if there is a belief that Taiwan Semi comes in and buys even more than they have. Mm-hmm. Taiwan Semi is maybe arguably the most important company in the world right now.
Certainly may be.
And how green that
no
is.
shortage of
Jeez,
concern
that was
about
like
China.
all green. Jim's talking about Taiwan Semiconductors. Meanwhile, the entire board was basically green. Let's see how things are reacting at the open here. That is certainly an optimistic look. Let's get the change percentage here. Yeah, let's see. Virgin Galactic starting off with a bit of a red candle. We've got Ethereum back to about that 2,400. My goodness, we had a sell-off in the crypto space over the last 24 hours. That was rough. We've got, what do we have here? Dogecoin at 33 cents again. I think fell down to like 25 cents. It was nuts. I think it even went down to like 24.19 for a brief moment there. Beyond Meat, a good run. The run is continuing as we open the market here. Luminar rotating to the downside. So is Canoe. Marathon and Riot, not a surprise that upon a crypto recovery, they are seeing at least some green right now. It seems a little disproportionate. They're only up like 1.8 to 2% when they are usually down like 8 to 10% when crypto's not doing well. So these guys have really gotten beat up quite a bit. And it's these tests for crypto on these falls that I think are very good for some of the miners. Seagate Tech up about 1.3 here. Honest just went from negative 1% to positive 1%. That was such a quick flip. Mind Medicine did not do so well on Friday, but is up 1% at the moment. Looks like got AMC. AMC rotating to the downside at the moment. Not so great. We do have, looks like Fed, one of our Fed presidents is talking at the moment. Got an update here that she and the Fed are prepared to use the tools that they have if they need to for inflation. And that's important for the regulatory framework on cryptocurrencies to evolve. Who knows exactly what that means? All right, so what else do we have here? Shift still getting wrecked here after this bond offering. Ford, I wonder why Ford is also falling here. QuantumScape down about 3.5. Why Ford, though? Tattooed is back under 20 here, falling 267. Ford Motor, I do wonder what kind of news we have with Ford. Let's see here. Do we have any news with Ford? I don't know where my news chart here went. Add a widget. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know where news is. Oh well. We have releases here. I'll look in a moment. We'll jump over to CNBC and we'll find out. I'll find out what's going on with Ford. Give me a second.
Wood camp, which says that deflation is going to be the issue. I can't get my arms around that, David, but perhaps you can. Maybe.
That's the Kathy Wood argument there. Jim Cramer saying he can't get his arms around that.
But I will sit here day after day and sort of question your belief, because so many others do, that will it be transitory or not? A lot is potentially riding on that view. We know where Fed Chair Powell is.
Right.
And a lot of depends on it, including perhaps the movement of, well, the 10-year and the broader market.
But Carl, I would say over and over again that of the ones that seem really intractable, it was and is freight. And if Foot Locker is right, and I believe them, that there is an easing, and I think this is really important in the Foot Locker conference call. They bring it up very early on. They say if there's an easing in port trouble, then, in which they claim there definitely is, then you're going to see a decline in one of the most, what we thought was an intractable portion of commerce. So I was quite bullish from the Foot Locker call, and I think people should read through it. It was a very positive call.
Yeah. You mentioned Deere as well. I see this morning Credit Suisse goes to 427, Jefferies to 450, JPM to 330, Stifel to 430. Pretty good numbers. I imagine you covered this on Friday with the earnings.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say that there are people who want to cycle out. Some analysts want to cycle out of it. I just think that if you go over the conference call, you'll see that this is a cycle, and this cycle has more legs and versus typical cycles. And I am all in believing that this cycle merits an even higher stock price. David, you know these ag cycles when they get going. I'm not calling them a super cycle.
Okay.
But when they get
specifically talking about John Deere here. So regarding Ford, let's see. I don't know. I wonder if it's just there's just more. The only thing I see about Ford is more talk about how the shortages of chips is slowing them down a little bit, but no particular big Ford news here that I'm seeing. All right. Well, either way, let's see how other things are moving. Ford now kind of flattening at about 1.88 to the downside. We've got SunPower and it looks like some of the energy companies coming down. Matterport sitting at down about 1.3. Did have two very, very strong days. Tesla's down about 1% along with NIO. So it looks like a lot more red sort of just appeared right after the opening bell. Yeah, look at that. We had the opening bell just long enough to smile for the picture almost of, oh, look, the market looks green. And then everything just kind of gave up about 1%. Very bizarre. Yeah, even Virgin kind of rotated down to the downside. Although our cryptos are doing well, though, here. Ethereum, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, which is good because we didn't want to see them break some of the levels where they were yesterday. That would have been very bad. Bitcoin was potentially heading to the 23-ish range, and Ethereum down to the 1300 range if we broke those levels where we were yesterday. So would not have been good. Did not happen though. We did cover a lot of the new buyers. About 75% of the new buyers of Bitcoin have an average cost basis of at least $36,000. So you shake paper hands when folks start losing their own money. That's pretty dang common. So what else do we have here? So a lot of stocks really trading here in the middle range. Starbucks, Coupang, DocuSign. These guys are up 1% with Apple, Pinterest, Twitter, USO, Target. These guys all in that 0.8 to 1.2 range. Which we also have a very diverse group in that same range on the negative side. That Tattooed Chef, The Endeavor, Microvision, Neo, Etsy. Tesla's bobbing around. Don't even really know where it went right now. Let's see here. Tesla. Oh, Tesla just got a little bit of green. Trying to return to green. We'll see if it does. Right now it's down about 0.3. All right, let's take a look at what else we have got going on with the news. We did want to go revisit the inflation argument here quickly. So we've been talking about September, October. We've been getting more and more information. Film rebate company. Yeah, we can't have Hollywood leaving California. That's for sure. Hollywood is bailing out of California. They don't blame them the way things are now. So anyway, looking at let's see here, expectations. Okay, inflation expectations moved up significantly from those in the March survey, but panelists anticipate rising inflation easing, or anticipate inflation easing in the second half of 21, with no resurgence in 2022. That's a big statement right there. The chair of the Inflation Expectation Survey. Now, keep in mind, my opinion with surveys is that generally the inflation surveys overblow whatever's currently happening. So if we have low inflation, the inflation expectation survey is like miserable. It's super low. When we have like a sudden spike in inflation, like we did in the last couple months here, especially year over year, and then the commodities issues, yeah, then all of a sudden it's like, well, oh my gosh, okay, well, this is going to stay forever. No. But anyway, we'll see, obviously. The market's sitting on pins and needles to find out. And we're still stuck sitting around through this most painful, like 6-month period ever, sitting around from February to basically September, October, which I guess is more like 7 to 8 months. But anyway. All right, so what do we have here? Look at this. Survey suggests. The survey suggests that CPI will rise to 2.8% in the final 3 months of 2021, then drop to 2.4% in the fourth quarter of 2022. This does kind of play along with, so far, the Federal Reserve's expectations of averaging that 2%, having inflation be around 2.2 to 2.4% for a year and a half, would actually be in line with the Fed's expectations of keeping rates low. And that could be a big U-turn for the stock market, which right now is pricing in a much faster rate increase. But it's not only pricing in a faster rate increase, the market is pricing in faster rate increase and substantial rate increase to prevent the Fed from losing control. And I think that's why we've seen such a painful market over the last 7 months, is because the market is over-incorporating so much fear. CPI climbed last month the most since 2009, stoking an already heated debate about inflation, right? All right, some 2/3 of respondents. Okay, this is just sort of more detail here. Yeah, all right. It's an interesting piece. It's not bad. All right, let's go to CoinMarketCap here and see what we've got over there, Tim. So going back to CoinMarketCap, we got Cardano at 149, nicely up from that 116 level where Cardano was briefly yesterday. Ethereum sat at 19, Bitcoin was at like 32. We had some crazy numbers here on drops, at least. We've got, a lot of coins back up today. Look at the day. These day increases here. Polygon up 77%, Stellar up 40%, 42% on Chainlink. I mean, you get, as is usual, you get a lot of excitement at Bitcoin. You get some big moves to the upside on Ethereum, Cardano. Doge, actually, not so much. That's actually odd. The fact that Doge is moving more in line with Bitcoin. Look at that. Greater loss on the week, but smaller gain today. A little odd. All right, let's see what we got over here. We'll go back to the sticks in a moment.
It's a bold move. But it doesn't always, bold doesn't always mean right. And I said that to him. But
that's AT&T. Back off this.
Built for real interoperability and built for 5G.
Man. All right, I'll pull up Bloomberg TV too. All right. Well, TV's going to be boring until maybe we have Bloomberg TV up. All right. Let's see what else we have. Let's go to the sticks here and find out what else we have. What else is moving in the market right now? All right. Here we go. Oh, I do want to also pull up the 10-year treasury. Let's see what's happening here. So an easy way for you to see it, and if you don't want to use the terminal, I like the CNBC and Market Watch charts. But take a peek over here. You've got you had some real fear coming into inflation when we had our CPI data release. Oops, I'm hiding. There we go. We ran up to about 1.72 intraday, at least on the chart that I have. CNBC doesn't show it as high intraday. Maybe they've just sort of simplified the candle here a little bit over the chart. But anyway, we did see it run up to about 1.72 when we had our CPI data release. Now we're sitting at about 1.62. So kind of moderating again. You could really see this was that February spike in yield expectations here. or potentially a measure of inflation expectations. We've been really flat since then, really flat. And you would think that if there was really an expectation of a Fed taper coming soon or a rate increase coming soon, that these numbers would change very quickly. But we have not seen that yet. Oh, look, Fox is actually covering the stocks right now.
40 for the NASDAQ. Bitcoin up $38,000 per coin, recovering quite nicely from its weekend slump. Now this, we know Colonial Pipeline paid 75 Bitcoin, about $5 million worth, to the dark side to pay off the ransom. Now there's a new report on how much money in ransom dark side got from other companies just in the past 9 months. How much?
A lot. So Elliptic did some digging here, and that 75 Bitcoin was only from the Colonial Pipeline. In total, they received 57 payments from 21 different wallets since March 4th of this year. Isn't that a lot? So $90 million in total. And apparently they've already shut down this wallet, this digital wallet. So they've already moved the funds over to a small group of exchanges. And once that happens, it goes, you can't trace it after that. It just goes into different pockets, into different uses. But $90 million in just 9 months from an estimated 47 victims.
And our authorities, our FBI, our NSA, our CIA, oh no, we can't find out who's got them Bitcoin. We can't do that.
It makes you wonder, though, because Bitcoin does seem traceable, especially with digital wallets. But also, you know, they're just making a killing here with ransomware.
Yeah, they're getting away with it, too. Get out of here.
Well,
come on.
I mean, what do you expect them to do? Not pay the ransom? How do they open the pipeline?
The authorities should be doing something. Are we going to be held to ransom by crypto criminals and we do nothing? Get out of here. Not you, but you know what I mean. The cryptos bring in Douglas Borthwick. He is the CMO of...
I have to say, it is kind of crazy. Jeez.
You know, Douglas, there's a lot of negatives here. The Chinese are going after the crypto miners. They're getting all kinds of bad publicity from these ransom things. You know, it looks like the cryptos are beginning to unwind. What do you say about that?
Well, just because someone is doing a ransom in crypto doesn't mean that they're a crypto villain. I think that when people do ransoms in dollars, we don't call them dollar villains. So I think we should break that apart. I think that the Chinese...
Wait, look. You cannot have these groups using ransom demands pay off in Bitcoin, and we do nothing about it. You can't have that, Douglas. I don't care whether I'm making an example of Bitcoin criminals or dollar criminals. I don't care. You cannot have a situation where we do absolutely nothing. You can't have that.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I believe people are doing something. It's incredible that Elliptic and guys like Chainalysis can actually find out where these victims are, can also then trace the wallets. And when those Bitcoin come out of those wallets, they'll know at that time too. And I think that's when we'll go out there and we'll try to find these villains in the first place. But, you know, Bitcoin has been getting a lot of what we call FUD, or fear, uncertainty, and doubt over the last week. And you got to ask, you know, who's sending this information? And over the last couple of months, something's changed in the market. And I think that, you know, you should learn about this or hear about it. In the past, Bitcoin was traded by a lot of retail investors that used leverage. And leverage can be significant. Offshore, you can do leverage, you know, 50 times, 100 times. And now in the United States, we've got institutions that are coming out and trading optionality, or gamma. And what these guys can do is they can put huge orders onto exchanges that make these retail guys very, very afraid, get out of their positions. And obviously you create this tumbling effect. And then the institutions come back and they start buying on the lows, and then they can sell on the highs because they're long optionality or volatility. And so the big boys, as they've come into this space, they can push around the little guy, which is the retail guy, using, you know, truly large forms of leverage offshore.
Well, you run a trading platform, a crypto trading platform. That's what you do. Is that exactly what you've been seeing? The little guy forced out, the big guy coming in to buy cheap?
Well, I can tell you certainly that it was a lot of whales were seen buying on the lows in the market in general. And so, you know, it's the big guys are the ones that are buying, and the little guys are the ones that were selling in this panic that happened over the weekend. And I think that that's, you know, very much, you know, it really tells you what's happening here is that it's the little guy that's getting squeezed out, but the big guy's continuing to build large positions.
All right. Your Scots accent has increased its intensity since we last saw you, but that's a wonderful thing. Douglas Borthwick, come again soon. We'll see you again later.
Thank you very much.
Sure thing, Douglas.
Yeah, I think he's got some really good insights. You know what I did during that is I sent an email, and we'll see what kind of insight we get. I sent an email over to the CEO of Big Digital Assets, which is an interview we've had on the channel. And they can track criminal activity with Bitcoin. And so, what we just had was Fox saying, hey, well, we have this money that went from the Colonial Pipeline to the ransomware criminals with a Bitcoin. And then from that wallet, it was sent to multiple smaller exchanges. So why can't we track that? Where's the broken link? Or can we track that? And is there just a broken narrative here? So we'll get to the bottom of that, hopefully, and report back. I think that'll be very insightful. Okay, so by the way, some kind of weird movements just overall in the market here. Etsy down about a third. Nordstrom's down about 0.1. Tesla's down about 0.07. Shift is still getting wrecked after their bond offering. Matterport down about 2%. Had 2 very, very good days last week. No news we could see on Ford, but we do know that Virgin Galactic, was up about 17-18%. Not anymore. Now it's up about 13%. So a little bit of a slowdown here. Beyond Meat's still doing well, holding on to its gains for the day. Riot and Marathon finally doing better. There we go. See this when we opened up at the opening bell, we're like, why is it that they're only up 1.5 to 2% after a very decent recovery there? Yeah. So we have seen a correction here to the upside, where Marathon is now 6.6% to the up. Roblox, by the way. Wow, Roblox an all-time high here at 86. Riot's up 5%. EXPI is up about 5%. Luminar is running here, 4.5%. Lemonade's up. Redfin's up. All these guys, 4% here. Skills, Upwork, and Vitae, 3 to 3.5%. Twitter, Sonos, BNGO, upper 2s. Trade Desk and Coinbase, Spotify, Microsoft, right around 2 here. Let's see. What else do we have here? Square's up about 1.5%. Amazon, Yelp, and EO, these guys all sitting just above 1% here. Okay, let's go see what we've got maybe on Bloomberg TV. Let's give that a shot here. Bloomberg TV, let's give them a listen.
No, I think we're going to continue to see more popping just generally in all segments of consumer. We like e-commerce more, but people are going back to work. They need new clothes. They need to, get ready for the office, need new materials. Some people might need new, office hardware and all of that. So there is really going to be an explosion of consumption here. And again, we have supply chain issues that might make that challenging, but there's going to be insatiable demand for new things.
Jay, good to see you. Jay Jacobs there of Global.
A lot of folks talk about that, this explosion of buying basically as the market opens up. I don't know. I don't know. I see the appeal of go out and spend money, but I don't know how quickly folks are going to rubber band back to that frugality we've learned over the last year. We'll see.
Stocks at the forefront, followed by communication services, where you find Google's owner, Alphabet, Facebook, and a bunch of other internet-type stocks. One thing that's interesting, energy really trailing the S&P 500, even though you've got this $7.4 billion deal. Cabot Oil and Gas and Cimarex Energy deciding to get together. It's an all-stock transaction. Cabot's in the S&P 500, so it's certainly not helping the energy group at all. But if you look across, Cimarex is in the mid-cap.
I'm going to go ahead and pull off this coverage here at Bloomberg on Bloomberg Live here. Let's go ahead instead, go back to our sticks. All right, so let's take a peek here at our recent behavior. So a little bit of a sell down, small sell down here in Ethereum. Doge moving, also down, just broke 33 there to the downside. Bitcoin also at about 37.6. So a little bit of a rotation to the downside here. Let's, you know what we should do? Let's run a poll on that frugality question. I want to hear from y'all. So let's do a quick poll. So at Real Meat Kevin on Twitter as usual. So let's run a poll. What are we gonna call this poll? We're gonna say let's see. Once the economy is fully reopened, some economists project massive spending. Where do you see yourself? Spending a bit staying frugal. Can I say that? No. Running out of words here or characters is always the hard part. Mostly staying frugal. Mostly staying frugal versus spending like crazy. Well, let's see. Mostly staying frugal, spending like crazy. Really, I think those are the two options. You're either going to spend like crazy, or you're going to mostly stay frugal. Maybe with a slight increase. Or, well, then again, I guess you could spend less. Likely to spend less. I guess that's another option, right? So, yeah, okay. I think that covers it, right? Either down, mostly stable, or more. Okay. All right, let's run it. Spend temporarily, then be frugal. Yeah, that's kind of spend temporarily and then be frugal is kind of what I'm thinking with this, but I can't. I don't think. Let me try. Slight. No, I just don't have the characters to do it. Once the economy is fully reopened, some economists project massive spending. Others suggest a brief period of spending followed by a return to normalcy, which might be, well, see, this gets too complicated. Let's just keep it nice and simple. Look, you're either going to spend more, you're going to spend roughly the same, or you're going to spend less. There. Yeah, it's simple. It's very simple. So at Real Meat Kevin, and let's see what you think there. All right, so let's go back. Okay. Hey, wow, AMC was plummeting this morning. Well, I mean, not really plummeting, but it was just going straight down on the opening bell. And look at it now. Now it's up 6%. AMC is such a fun stock to watch because you do get this. It's just, oh, that's it. Buy the dip. Really, really incredible. Go AMC here. Look at that. AMC up 6% now. Nice run here. See how our volume is. Volume's lower than usual, but it's still got a nice run. Let's see here. Let's go to the 5-minute. We could probably average the 5-minute a little bit more. Let's see. Then again, it's around 2 mil on the 5. Yeah, no, actually, that is more volume than we had on Friday. Yeah, maybe I'm used to the old volume. Yeah, roughly the same volume at the start of the day here. We'll see how long it holds on to 2 mil. But then again, yeah, see, when you get those 2 mil nums, that's usually when you get these green candles. Green candles when we get around 2 mil of volume in the 5-minute. Okay, that's actually not bad then. Never mind. I retract my statement. This is actually good volume. Bouncing around 2 to 2.25 right now, million. Seeing those green candles with it. This is strong. Good mover right now. Very good. Virgin Galactic back up slightly as well. Back to about 16% to the upside. We've got definitely spending about the same, maybe a tad more. Yeah, that I agree with you. I think you get out there, you kind of do the restaurant run for a little bit. You go bowling, you go kind of do all the fun stuff, but then you almost kind of rubber band back to normal. It's like, I kind of like saving money. I don't know. It's just a belief that I have. I don't know that. And don't get me wrong, nobody likes the idea of, oh yeah, I'm just gonna save money, but we're spending so much less money than we used to, and it's actually a wonderful thing. So good. Yeah, it lets people invest more, which is also very, very good. So no massive changes here, with the exception of Tesla going from red to green here. Well, AMC did that as well, but AMC did that with much more vigor. But Tesla, it did go from about down 1% to about up 0.8% just here in the last 20 minutes here as the market is open. We got Palantir. It's actually up 2% today. Teladoc's up a little bit as well. So mostly a green day, unless you're doing a debt offering. Seems to be mosely positive here. Let's get CNBC a shot again here. What do you? Okay, CNBC on commercial again. All right. Let's give it a second here. We got, okay, Fox is on commercial also. Fine. What about Live Bloomberg? Oh my gosh, they're all on commercial. Boring. All of them. All right, fine. Let's see what we got over here. You know what else we could do is we could go to Wall Street Journal Central Banks and we can look at the Fed calendar. I haven't done that in a little bit here. Let's see what we got over here. So Kansas City Fed speaks virtually. Evans speaks virtually. It's kind of boring. No, nothing major coming here in Outlook. Let's look at the week ahead. All right, what do we got? So Tuesday, so here's kind of sort of your catalyst watch for the week ahead. Tuesday, we get sales of newly built homes expecting to cool in April. Record high prices and tight inventories are weighing on. Yeah, all right. Thursday, jobless claims. Well, we get that every week. That's not a big deal. Forecasting another decline. Wow, there's like nothing. Friday, U.S. households are expected to extend stimulus-induced spending in April, helping propel economic growth. Consumer spending, a measure of both purchases of goods and services, rose sharply in March. Well, okay, so we get some consumer data on Friday. PCE. Oh, we'll get PCE as well. Okay. Personal consumption expenditures. This is, by the way, the index that the Federal Reserve uses rather than CPI. They don't look at CPI for their estimates. They look over here. Wow. Ray Dalio discloses he has, quote, some Bitcoin. That's interesting. Ray Dalio? I thought he was super anti-Bitcoin. So that is interesting. Somebody wants to know when the next CPI data releases. I don't have my iPad right now, but here you go. It's June 10th. That was easy. Quick Google. We can look at the chart right here. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Well, it is June 10th. That is the next one. Here it is. Is this? No, that's the last release. Yeah, I have it saved on my iPad, but the point is, oh, schedule. This might be it. Oh, this is somebody else's website. That's fine. Yeah, but we get our May data on June 10th. That'll be the next set of inflation data. All right, what else we got? What's going on here? TV commercial, TV commercial. TV commercial here? Oh, no, they're back. Let's give them a shot, and we'll go back to 6. Oh, they're back too. They all come back at the same time too.
A little buying on this Monday. Nasdaq's up 1%. S&P goes green for the month of May once again on this final trading week of the month. Morgan?
We're 30 minutes into the trading session. Here are the three big movers that we are watching this morning. Bitcoin rebounding this morning after another topsy-turvy weekend, plunging to nearly half of its recent April high, but rebounding now, still on pace for BTC's best gain in months. You can see right there. 37,654 is the level for Bitcoin. Beyond Meat getting a boost as well after a rare double upgrade at Jefferies. The analysts there going to outperform based on an expected recovery to growth, calling this a reopening play. Those shares are up 8%. And finally, to the moon, or, well, to the edge of space, at least. Virgin Galactic shares continuing their climb higher after a successful crewed test flight this weekend. It's first in more than 2 years. We're going to be breaking that down further and speaking to the CEO, Michael Colglazier, a little bit later this hour. David.
Okay. Turning back to the markets, starting off the week in green, as you see, with the S&P up 0.8%. Our senior market commentator, Mike Santoli, joins us now. He's going to break down.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too, about Ray Dalio talking himself out of Bitcoin. Exactly. So that's interesting that we got that disclosure.
Several weeks is that the market as a whole has kind of bent but not broken, even as you see a lot of these kind of isolated speculative unwinds happen. So obviously the drama in crypto, we had a purge of leverage there, really a lot of liquidation happening, and some of the adjacent stocks got hit, but not really, to any net damage to the overall tape. If you take a look at some of these subsectors that have really fallen apart since February, so that's blockchain-related stocks right there, BLOK, obviously ARK Invest and all those kind of hyper-growth names, as well as SPACs, they have all really fallen apart. And a lot of the complaints about the market were that it was frothy because of all those reasons. And the overall S&P has kind of rotated away from the immediate danger. I think one of the key things that has happened, though, as we get these little scares, has been it resets market sentiment and positioning and has people reassess their risk levels. And it has kept the market, despite great fundamentals and great earnings and expectations of a boom, from getting really over-enthusiastic for a long period of time. It's kept the kind of risk appetites in check to some degree. I think the big question is, can this continue, or is this kind of, essentially weakening the kind of overall market by having these rolling corrections? So far, it seems as if we're kind of, range bound near the highs as we kind of sort through all these things, after having a 90% move off the lows last year. It's probably time to have some digestion, but it's interesting that all these things that people thought would be really acute risk points for the market, they've blown up. And overall, we've kind of been able to withstand it, guys.
It's a good point.
And you've been focused on that for obvious reasons. It's funny, though, some names haven't benefited that you might have thought would have. And we're going to talk about Apple and its fight with Epic in a moment, but I just mentioned it more as a stock to you.
Yeah.
The biggest, of course, I don't know what it comprises in terms of the overall market cap of the S&P at $2.1 trillion, but it's still down almost 5% for the year.
It is. And actually, that actually goes back to the prior complaint about the excesses of this market, which goes back 10 months, 11 months, when it was just 5 or 6 stocks everyone complained were too big. They were the only things going up. And if they stopped going up, then the overall market was at risk. Well, Labor Day last year, they stopped going up. And they've essentially gone sideways or worse. And I think it was a matter of being either over-owned, having really not particularly dazzling earnings growth expectations for this year compared to the overall market, even though they're doing just fine. So, yeah, it's very interesting, although you see the NASDAQ outperforming today. We've had these periods where it lags for a certain period of time and then has a little bit of a catch-up move. We might be in the midst of one of those now, guys.
Mike, when we talk about rolling pullbacks or some of the areas of the market where we have seen these moments, I guess you could call them, since the start of the year, whether it's everything that was tied to, Reddit and GameStop, et cetera, earlier in the year, whether it's even Bitcoin to a certain extent right now, because I realize there's a lot of institutional activity playing a part too in terms of cryptocurrencies. With no more direct checks coming to people's accounts, with people going back out into the world and doing more stuff as we see reopenings continue, what are the expectations around some of those retail flows and some of the day trading activity we have seen?
Yeah, Morgan, they've definitely come in off the highs from January, February, March. So they've moderated the options volume. That's really where you saw it most directly, where these kind of small call option buys that would every single day be juicing stocks. But I don't think it's gone away. And I don't think we're going back to pre-March 2020 levels. I think there is a new kind of energy there that's going to probably continue. You see it flare up once in a while. So I don't think it's the key driver overall. But there was some interesting stuff from JP Morgan today talking about how overall retail flows into ETFs have picked up after little pullbacks in the market. So there actually has been a little bit of a buy the dip pattern in here. Maybe that muscle memory continues, even if it's not
good,
really as aggressive and risk seeking as it was a few months ago.
Yeah. No, as somebody here in the comments is asking, so no more 30 to 50% crash expected in S&P. I'm always still prepared for the idea of the potential for at max another 15% rollback, because we've seen the S&P kind of roll back and about 3 to 4% from some of its highs. As I was thinking, worst case, I think the S&P could have a 20% bump in the road, but I don't see something as large as the 30 to 50. For the commenter who was asking that. I do want to show our Twitter results here. Look at this, folks. This is interesting here. Look at this. Once the economy is fully reopened, some economists project massive spending. Where do you see yourself? 60% of you mostly staying frugal. 24.8% of you likely to spend less money. Only 14% of you expect to spend like crazy. I'm actually shocked that 10 percentage points more of you said that you were likely to spend less when things reopen than you're spending now. I don't know why. Maybe we won't be on Amazon as much. Maybe we won't be ordering food as much. To go food as much. I don't know, but this is very interesting. This is actually very good for the market, because spend smarter. I think that's great. I think the last thing you want is to see all if this number came in at like 60% of us going, I'm spending like crazy, that certainly becomes a little bit more of an inflation concern, and that's not what we have, at least with our audience here. Yeah, skewed audience, totally possible, but even with our audience, We're certainly by no means a random sample of people in America. But still, I'm a little impressed that it's so low on the spend here. So maybe I should have said spend more instead of spend like crazy. I don't know. Maybe. Volatility down. Here's our big old spike. Nice decrease here on volatility again. Shift still getting whacked on the bond offering. Hyliion down 2.7. Peloton's down a couple percent here, 2.3% rotating to the downside. Looks like we've got, there's AMC still running. Look at that. Brief little breather there, still running. If we go to the 5-minute volume here, wow. See, look at that. Volume actually doubled from about 2 million to 3.7 million. This is huge volume movements over here at AMC. Very, 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 very bullish. Very good. Very good news. Now, this is what you want to see if you're trading in AMC. So watch that volume. Super, super cool. Virgin Galactic, 16%. Ethereum, 12%. BTX back up a little bit here. Bitcoin still sitting right below 38, but not rotating down like it was there a little bit after the bell. We got Social Capital up 4% today. Look at this. We're almost at 20 for IPOE. Big moves here over the last few days, rotating back to the upside. Voyager Digital trying to get back to 20 as well. Let's see what else we have here. Zillow, Redfin, these guys 3%. EXPI sitting around that 3% level as well. Lemonade 2, back over 80, barely, but it's back over 80. Teladoc up a bit here. Tesla's now up 1.3%. Still sitting at 588 though. Still a little bit on the toilet there. Yeah, otherwise things mostly the same here. Let's go ahead and flip for a moment. All right, let's see what we got over here.
Today. And then NVIDIA, the world's biggest chip maker, really splitting its stock 4-for-1, set to be approved in the first week of June. I think that really catalyzed the rest of the entire sector. Yep. And these moves are usually very bullish. For instance, take a look at what happened to Tesla and Apple last summer. Their stock just went vertical after they split their stock. Yeah. Now let's also check in on a deal. I want to show you what's happening with Cabo Oil and Gas, and they're merging right now with another oil.
On the NVIDIA thing, it is interesting. You haven't seen their stock have too dramatically much of a movement after the announcement of the stock split. Going to top of Bloomberg here. Let's see what top of just Bloomberg.com has here in terms of headlines. Time to invest. Let's see. 5 important undervalued watches. Okay, wow, really? Let's see here. Tech leads gains. Bitcoin rebounds. Not terribly much news. Oh, here's probably why you have Luminar up today. Tesla tests Luminar sensor, Musk scorned as fool's errand. Now, one of the things we do see with Elon is and we've talked about this before, is that they're almost using LiDAR as a way on their test vehicles to help train what their algorithms see. And then they apply that knowledge to all of their vehicles without LiDAR. So it's kind of like, yeah, what you see over there, that is what you think it is. So it's sort of using LiDAR as an additional way to train, but not as a way to apply LiDAR to all vehicles. That's at least what we said last time. Let's see. Speculation about the companies working together. Yeah, but we've seen these photos circulate before. I mean, this isn't a surprise. I think what's different here is that it's actually on a vehicle in Florida. That's probably what's slightly different here. We usually see these outside of Palo Alto. So the fact that it's on a Y here in Florida is interesting. How they blurred out the dealer plate as if that has not been advertised plenty of times before. Anyway,
$1 million. Then he says, I will no longer accept Bitcoin in payments. Doge is a hustle. Doge is going to the moon. So what is it?
It gives disrespect to the whole crypto market.
You think so? You mean it discredits the entire crypto market?
Yeah, you tend to look at it and think, I'm not so sure.
Real? I'm not sure that's the case, to be honest. When somebody as smart, as deep-pocketed as Elon Musk says that this is going to be something mainstream for the future, with some people, I would say most of the younger investors would listen to Elon Musk than, say, a Charlie Munger.
That's probably true.
I think that's true.
John is over 90 now.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So ageist this morning after Phil Mickelson won.
Well, okay. But Dow is up 150 points. Let's concentrate on that, shall we? And Bitcoin's at 37.8 as
Go ahead
we
and jump
speak.
over to CNBC. Fox has been good today. Fox Biz.
For the course.
What do you got
Has
over
it
here?
done anything in your mind to alter the notion that it would be a stable payment mechanism? The question remains today, how are you going to use it to buy stuff if you don't know if it's going to be up, down 10, 20% in the next 24 hours?
Yeah, so Bitcoin prices are very, very volatile. This is what I've written in my book, The Promise of Bitcoin. It's actually a misnomer that it has to have a stable price because we're still actually in its infancy. Bitcoin is only 12 years old. So as a technology, it feels like 12 years is a long time. It's survived certainly for the last 12 years. But in the grand scheme of human inventions, 12 years is just a drop in the bucket. So until it gets to a more mature age, 20 years, 30 years, I think it's going to be very volatile as the price goes up. So in the meantime, Bitcoin is really not, it's really not as a payment mechanism. It should be seen more as an investment asset class.
Bobby, it's Morgan. I'm curious what you think about all the regulatory headlines we've been getting, whether it's ongoing, or maybe I should say renewed crackdown in China, which seems to have moved Bitcoin and other cryptos last week, or some of the headlines out of the US, whether it's the SEC or even the Treasury looking to potentially crack down from a tax standpoint?
Yeah, since this is a bull market year, the joke is that the Chinese regulators have done a great job in cracking down, allowing people who want to invest to buy Bitcoin at a good price. So what's happened in the last few days is the Chinese regulators have indeed announced the same thing they have announced in 2017, which is that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is not to be used in the local economy and supported by businesses and banks. So
good point, John Smith. Yeah, the guy's got a, he mentions, oh, I talk about how it's volatile in my book. We know Bitcoin is volatile. I will say one thing he said was interesting is, hey, it doesn't have to be stable to be considered a store of value. But and then we've heard the infancy argument before that, oh, don't worry, once you get more hedge funds and more hodlers, more institutional hodlers in Bitcoin, then we'll slowly see the stability in the coin. Well, we'll see. Well, anyway, that's what we got for this morning. Thank you very much for being here. If you want to get 2 free stocks with Webull, go to metkevin.com/Webull. Want to get life insurance, go to metkevin.com/life or try metkevin.com/lemonade. We all love Lemonade for your homeowner's insurance, renter's insurance, life insurance. Check those out. Link down below. And folks, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for being here for the Market Open. See you later. Bye.